Tenor Giuseppe Filianoti is here with us tonight to talk about singing the title role in Mozart's La Clemenza di Tito, which just opened last week to rave reviews. The Italian tenor, who performs the world over, had his premiere at the Met in 2005 as Edgardo in Lucia, and has since gone on to perform leading roles in many more Met productions. Nemorino in The Elixir of Love, the Duke in Rigoletto, Ruggiero in La Rondine, and the title role in The Tales of Hoffmann. And we're so glad that once again Giuseppe Filianoti is back to visit us. Buonanotte, Ruggiero.
Good evening.
Now, have you sung Gustavo in ballo?
No. Only few arias from this opera, but I think it's not the time for me to sing this role. Mm-hmm. I hope in the future to be able to do this role, because for the tenor it's wonderful. You have some beautiful arias and duets to do, and also the character, it's very interesting. He is very interesting.
He's a very interesting character, isn't he? We were just talking about him. He's the interesting characters, it seems really obvious to say, are the most interesting ones. Are they the most interesting ones to sing?
Yeah, usually they are interesting for the audience if they are closer with the human feelings. Mm-hmm. And so this is the case for Gustavo, and the same is for Tito from La Clemenza di Tito. And you can see they are both kings, but they are human beings. And that likes very much to the audience to see that who has this big power has also this deep feeling and the problems that everyone has with the love, with the politics and everything.
And Tito is a very interesting man, and once we make a quick description of the opera to the audience, I really want to get deep inside of him. It is the man who is about to be, or it's an attempt has been made on his life by his very, very good friend. And then he has to decide what he wants to do about that. Does he want to follow the rule of law and have his friend face up to the law? Or does he want to be merciful and have that be his, what history says about him somewhere down the line? So he isn't just a merciful person, is he? He has to struggle with what he wants to do.
Yes, I think basically this character has a very good feeling with Sesto, a particular connection with this guy. But also Tito is an emperor that want to give a good impression of himself for the future.
His legacy.
Yeah, mm-hmm. And so he always stays there to thinking about the people will talk about me in this way if I do this and if I will do this other thing. So he is always thinking like a philosopher, like to think the best way to leave a good impression of his own character.
And he admired rulers of the past.
Yeah, right.
Who were merciful.
Yeah, and he said, I don't want to be like Silla and Augusto, well known to be a bad emperor. Mm-hmm. And so I want to be recognized from the Popolo Romano to be a very good person. That's one side of his politic thoughts. And the other one is that he doesn't want really to kill his best friend, and he wants to be merciful for him, so there is a struggle inside of this emperor, because there is the political things to do and the personal things to do also. At the end, he will choose for the personal feelings, and that make him very human, very close to us.
And you have your scene where you struggle with this.
Yeah, Right. With this paper also, because this paper, if I sign it, I will say, okay, you have to kill Sesto. But at the end, he said, okay, I want to do maybe a mistake, but this is my mistake. I want to be the real Tito, to choose the life for my friend Sesto. Also, if I know that he was not so good for me, that he tries to kill me.
So this is La Clemenza di Tito is opera seria.
Yeah, right.
But it is from the end of Mozart's life.
Mm-hmm.
He was composing opera seria earlier in his life, in his earlier years. Now he is at a point where he's composing this sort of what seems to be almost an old art form. That art form is going out when he writes it. Can you feel the more mature Mozart in this opera seria?
Everyone knows that Mozart was a genius, and we have to think about the libretto. Libretto was written by Metastasio, so it was a very old libretto for Mozart. And so he decided to choose a musical form especially for the aria sung by Tito. That's a forma sonata, quite. So you especially the first two arias sung by Tito are in forma sonata. So it's it's a very old-fashioned way to orchestrate an aria. So he knew that the words and the text that beautiful, but from Metastasio, it was not contemporary so also Mozart asked to Mazzola to change a little bit this text and to put some, for example, a sextet or tercet.
Mazzola, who also worked on the libretto.
On the libretto later.
Yeah.
So Mozart was a genius. So he lived something an old-fashioned way music to do some arias, and also the text is not very easy for us to understand everything because it's very philosophic too. It's maybe for this reason today is not easy to accept totally this opera as a masterpiece. But I think that Clemenza di Tito, it's really a masterpiece. You have to accept that the text and maybe the recitativi were not written by Mozart himself.
Right.
So I think that the arias are beautiful, the music, and also the psychological character, psychologically written for Tito and Vitellia are really interesting.
During this first intermission of Un ballo in maschera, we're speaking with tenor Giuseppe Filianoti, who is singing the title role in La Clemenza di Tito. You mentioned that the recitativi were written by someone other than Mozart. Süssmayr.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
His copyist. Can you feel the difference between the Mozart and the Süssmayr?
My throat immediately recognized. Yes, because these recitativi are really in the middle of the voice, and after you have to skip in the passaggio voice immediately in the musical parts, so you immediately fill this gap between recitativi and the musical pieces, and that's not easy to keep all in the same level. The first time I did this beautiful opera was with Regia by Graham Vick. And I was a little bit scared. I said, this character I don't like very much, because if you see, he has, he's the only one that has 3 arias. So, but the character and also this aria are less beautiful than the sesto arias and something like that. And that character is maybe he said me no.
Graham Vick.
Graham Vick said me, no, pay attention. If you really play good the recitativi, you will you will be able to show really that the Tito is a strong character, is the main character, and without Tito it's not possible to do Clemenza di Tito dramaturgically. And he was right, especially in the second act. You can see this emperor that he's there thinking about this, the positive, the negative, and trying to be friends with Sesto. And after, it's beautiful, and he was right. And only that give that long recitativi can give power to this character.
Mm-hmm. And so it sounds like playing the role of Tito requires more brain power, more craft almost.
Acting power.
Yes.
Acting power. Because you cannot only sing the three arias and stop, because you have to give the impression, to give a solution of this character to the audience, to give an idea of the character.
Before we are told that we have to get going, I have to ask you a real quick question. I read a very interesting thing about you. There's a story of you finding a lost aria by Cilea?
Yeah.
We've only got a couple of minutes. Can you tell me? When his best friend, Renato, rushes in and accepts Gustavo's hand. But Ulrica will not retract what she believes to be true. And Gustavo's people sing his praises at the end of Act 1.
And after, for this concert, I decide to put in for the first time, and there will be a recording next year.
Fantastic.
And this first aria was sung only by Caruso, because Caruso was the first interpreter of Federico. We know everyone Lamento di Federico. And also it's beautiful to think about these two different aria. The first one, Lamento di Federico, it's really something of dramatic and veristic aria, and the second one is closer to Debussy aria. It's
so we'll
beautiful.
Get to hear you sing this on a recording. I'm so excited about that. I love the idea that you're a music historian too. This is great. Audiences can hear tenor Giuseppe Filianoti in the title role of La Clemenza di Tito. Tomorrow night we're going to be broadcasting it.
Yes.
That's November 20th. And again on December 6th we're going to broadcast the performance live from Met Opera Radio. And for further performances, they will happen through December 10th. And it's so great to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks to Giuseppe Filianoti for joining us. Stay with us. There's more on Met Opera Radio, Sirius XM.